my friends. How are you today? Top of the morning to you. I'm hoping you're having a great day. I am having a fantastic day. Got my coffee, got everything situated. And I was thinking today we would try out these paints a little more from the Hobby Lobby. This is one of them. Oh wow, I don't have any glasses on my head. I always have some glasses on my head. Well, this one is Master Touch Premium Watercolor. This is Indian Red. So I haven't done a whole lot with the reds and yellows. So I thought we would start off with that today. Do a little something in my sketchbook. This is a watercolor sketchbook from Arteza. Arteza. Yes. So these are just some of the things I have worked on in my Arteza sketchbook. Just things for myself. This is what I do for me. But I thought maybe, just maybe, we could do something. Not the normal. Usually I would do something like a flower. Today I'm thinking more along the lines of fruit. So, without further ado, let's get these watercolors wet. Because you can't do much without wetting down your watercolors. Well, I guess you can if you really want to, but why? I don't know. Anywho, I got my water, I got watercolors, I got my paintbrush, and I'm thinking, first off, let's start with this one that I cannot pronounce. This is the smaller one. This is the one. I don't use it very often, but I love it. It's very, very nice. It's a nice paintbrush. But I was thinking, let me see. I was thinking we'd do a nice orange. Just an orange. No big deal. Maybe an orange sitting on a table. But this is supposed to be a watercolor sketchbook as well. So I'm also kind of testing out the watercolor abilities of this sketchbook. Now, have you ever seen an orange that was perfectly round? Probably not. So, don't think that you have to make your orange perfectly round. You can make it big, you can make it small. You can do whatever you want to with it. You can even stop this video, go get yourself some paints, or watercolor pencils, anything. Whatever you're feeling right now. Okay, so this does have a straight up yellow in it. I mean, excuse me, an orange. It has a straight up orange color. I think we'll try a very light little bit of that first off, just to see how orangey it is, really. I'm going to use on this piece of paper that I used the other day. I think we can work with that and then adjust. We'll try. I want to try all the colors. I know, and it does bleed very nice, the paper. The paper bleeds really well. Look at that. Okay, so, I know there are, I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, we are going to take this and figure out where we're going to have our little, I mean, every piece of fruit has like a little bit of a shine to it, or, you know, something. I'm thinking I want mine to be up here. And to do that, you just rinse out your brush really good, dry it off on a paper towel, and then try to take up some of that color, that beautiful color you just put down. And it doesn't matter if it's if you get it enough up or not. If you don't, that's fine, especially with this paintbrush. It takes some getting used to, but squirrel hair for me is harder to work with for certain things. I'm assuming that's right with everybody, because it's just, it soaks up a lot. It really does. It just soaks up a lot of stuff. We're going to make it much darker on the bottom. A lot darker. And therefore, the more dark that you put into it, whoa, look at that go. The darker you put it in certain places, the lighter it will look in your highlight. Okay. Okay, I like that so far. We do have a pool happening in our little light spot, our little area here. We have a pool happening here. We do not want a pool of water, because if you have a pool, that's another thing, this paper kind of warps a little. And I do have it clipped, but it still warps when you have a lot of water on your page. So I'm going to switch to another paintbrush. Not because I don't like that one, but because it's holding on to a lot of water, and for this part I want it to not. So this is my Princeton number 6 Select Round. This is a regular round. The other day I was using a sharp round, very sharp. And still, to get some of that water off, you still have to wet your paintbrush. It probably would help if I had... I am notorious for having dirty pieces of napkin or paper towel or whatever that I'm just using on the side. They're always dirty. It's just the way it is. I don't like to waste. And sometimes I will even use it if it's pretty, if they're pretty colors. I will use it for an art project. I might make something out of it. Okay, so let's see. What can we add into this? How about a little bit of vermilion or a yellow ochre, or both? Let's try the vermilion first and just see what happens when we add this to the little bit of orange. And with watercolor, it doesn't take much. You can make it super creamy if you want to. It doesn't have to be. Okay, so we got this a little bit darker. And like we have before, you can, I mean, this is really good watercolor paper. I'm impressed with the things that I've been able to do with it so far. Just in this little sketchbook. Excuse me, allergies are still in the air. We do not like them ever. But they're still here. And I mean, seriously, look at this. An orange is not hard, people. Fruit is not hard. Everybody always says you have to have a excuse me, you have to have a piece of still life sitting in front of you to be able to do fruit. If you've seen an orange, an apple, cherries, yes, you can have your little piece on the side if you want to, but you don't have to. You can look online and you can say, okay, I need to know what an orange looks like. Or even a painted orange. Some people like to look for that painted orange, the painted piece, and that can be very helpful, because then you see how someone else painted it. Okay, so I'm going to add a little water to some of these over here. And we're going to make it have a shadow so it's not just sitting on nothing in a minute. Turn my colors over since these are still so new to me. I want some I think we're going to make the stem happen right here with a little bit of burnt umber in our little area there. That's where I want the stem to happen. But it's still a little wet, so I wanted it to be where it would disperse a bit. You know what I mean? Where you could still have a little bit. And of course my shadow is going to happen this way. This is very dangerous. You should not do your shadow while your orange is still wet, Danielle. You silly goose. I'm just going to get a little bit of burnt umber, raw umber, and just give it a little shadow right there. That means that it is not, and we can always darken that up after. A lot of this is wet on wet technique. And yes, you can let your orange bleed into this beautiful little shadow we've created here. But why would you? If you want to, if that's your vision, do it. I would love to see it. Okay, now I think it's dry enough. It doesn't take long. I'm going to get a little bit more of my burnt umber. Actually, we're going to get this pretty thick because we want to mix it with a little bit of my black that's just sitting here in the tray. I don't know if you can see that. There it is. So I got a little bit of the burnt umber and mixed it in with the black that was already sitting there. And you can tell I haven't used these much. I just got them recently. And summer is busy. We live in the UP and summer is really busy. That's still not thick enough at all. The thicker it is, the less it will run. It's still kind of wet. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry for a second because I don't want to have a big, humongous. That's okay. We'll leave that like that because then we can have a little bit of shadow behind. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, let's try this again. I think it's dry enough. It does buckle. But again, most watercolor paper will buckle, at least some. But I'm going to get this burnt umber a lot darker, a lot thicker, and add in a touch of my black. So it's nice and thick on my paintbrush. We're just going to make a little stem because it is an orange. And I don't like wasting paint, so when I have this much, I try to at least get it off so I can use it later. Okay, now I am going to go back to my, come here you, my Princeton brush. This is the number 4, and this is the pointed filbert. You see, it's got a very good point on it. I think this is the best paintbrush I've ever found. I love this thing. This thing is amazing. Makes me so all kinds of happy. I may have to make my stem a little bit bigger. We can still do that with this paintbrush too, though. Maybe it would be better. I can get right in there. For all you out there who have reading glasses, how many different kinds do you have? I have pears everywhere, but I also have like a number 3. I have a couple of number 1s, 1 and 1.25, 1.50. I have a couple of 2s. I have all of them so that I can see what I'm doing when I want to see what I'm doing. Like if I'm sewing or painting something really small, I need the 3s. I think that's as much as it gets. Is 2 or 3. I need to go get glasses, I guess. Break down and actually get the glasses. I used to have glasses back in the day. But what color do we want our leaf to be? Let's try our sap green. I like that color. Let's get a lot of sap green. And let's just, yeah, that's nice. Water down just a little bit. A little more. I do think, I mean, it's a really nice color. Let's get a little bit of this lighter permanent green light. Like I say, you don't know unless you try. And what is it going to hurt? This is a practice book. This is my practice book. I am just practicing. My stem is still a little bit wet in a couple of places, but I think it will be okay if I go ahead and, whoops, make myself a little leaf or 2. That is not a anything song. It's just my brain. I suddenly break out in music. I mean, okay, so you can see this. I'm having trouble with my leaves. It's fine. It's not a problem. And if you're the type that gets offended by silly things, I have a lot of accents inside of me. It is not meant to be ugly to anyone. I am just full of silliness all the time. And when we were kids, we would travel from Texas to Michigan, and along the way, us kids, our accents would change. It was so weird. Not a bad thing, just our accents would change with where we were, whoever we talked to. I remember that happening, and I always thought it was just so cool, because we could talk like everybody. We'd be up here in the UP, and in no time, our family would be like, they sound like a bunch of Youpers. And then we'd go back down to Texas, and within minutes we'd be talking like Southerners again. I'm going to go ahead and give it a second coat, especially around the bottom. I'm just going to put a bunch of color on here, and then I'm going to thin it out with some water and a clean brush. We want our orange to have oomph. Is that a real word? Oomph. So all I did was rinse my paintbrush, dry it on a paper towel, and then we're just going to blend out those areas that are so dark. Because if we did the other way, if we just kept on, it would be one big orange. If that makes any sense, you know. You don't want your orange to be all one color. you want it to have a little depth. You want it to be darker on the bottom where there is no light coming from. And if you get outside the lines, fix it. No big deal. You just take that orange and just go right around. And we're going to give it a little bit of a little depth in there where you can see where the stem is actually where it should be. But I'm going to let this dry for a second and then I'll be right back. Okay, I think we're completely dry now, so that's really nice. And the paper flattens out really nice all on its own, so that's wonderful. I was going to, real quick, finish this little guy off by getting a little bit more of this really light orange, and then we're going to add a little bit of yellow to it. Look at there, we can see I have a lot of light in this room. Sometimes the sun comes in so bright that it is like too much. Other times I'm just like waiting. Then we have those moments where it's just dark. Okay, so I got the permanent green lights and I'm adding a little bit of yellow medium. Trying to make it just a little bit of a lighter green. Just a tad lighter. We have a couple of things to do. I want this to be ready. Maybe a hair more. Maybe a little bit of this one, the lemon yellow. Let's see. Okay, that's it. That's what I'm looking for. I don't know if you can't see that. I'm looking for this. This really like spring green, because they have this little thing around the edges. Okay, we don't want that much water. You have this little thing around the edges, this little greenness. That might not even be dark enough, but they do have this little bit of a greenness around the edges. So we can't get it to darken up just a hair. Just with a regular old everyday green. There we go. It's a little green thingy, you know? I'm not up on my orange or fruit, whatever. And the stem is a little bit green. Sometimes a lot of green. I don't want mine to be a lot of green. I want mine to be a little green. So, and I know this is like 101, but there are people who really would like and appreciate the 101. Okay, so we're going to go back to our orange. Beautiful orange that we made, and we want it to be a little bit wetter this time because oranges have these beautiful little, you don't want those little, you know, when you get the water dripples around here, sometimes they can just drop off on something and be like, whoa, I didn't really want that there. This will give your orange that little bit of that it's an orange, that it's round. See what I mean? And so we're not going to leave it like that. We're going to leave it like that for a second. Just for like a little second so it can just get in there a bit. And then we're going to do our little very damp dry brush on there to get rid of that. just for like a second. And I'm going to add a little bit more to the bottom with a little bit of, I think, sienna. It's in this little range over here, so we're just gonna, yeah, that looks good. Because just on the bottom, this is the shadow. I need a little more. This is our shadow area, so we want that to be dark. You're going to have a beautiful little orange. And who says you can't take an orange, put it on a card, or frame it? I made some apples a while back for my sister because she wanted apples on her wall. So I painted her some apples. Shout out to my sister, Brandy. I made a sunflower for my other sister, Sandy. Shout out to Sandy and Brandy. Okay, and I'm just going to dryly, with a very damp brush, just kind of blend that a little bit so that it doesn't look so, it won't dry with that funkiness, you know. And then we're going to just do the same thing here. Just a little damp brush, wiggling it a little bit, just a little wiggles, just a little wiggle, because you want that, just a hint, not a whole lot, just a little hint. And we have a little shadow going here too, so we need a little bit darker. You just want that little hint of what do they call that part right there? You know what it is. If you know what it is, leave it in the comments. Just that little bit right there. You know, oranges have that. It's like an indent. It's like a wee indent. I'm going to get this a little wetter and see if that won't blend a little bit. Let me put down that really wet color and just give it a little, yeah. Because it should just be kind of like almost a shadow of an indent. Well, you know what I mean. That little place on the top of the oranges where the everything is, where the wild fern grows. Sorry, I talk in movies. If you can guess what movie I'm talking about. And we're gonna do a little dab right in here, and I'm gonna say that the orange is done. Yes, I'm gonna say our orange is finished. Now, if you rather have a little bit of a highlight right here or something, you could take a little bit of white gouache or something and do that. Or you could just leave it like it is and don't worry about it. And then we're just going to give it a little bit of something to sit on, because our orange ain't just floating in the air there. Who wants your orange to be floating in the air? And it's way darker on this side of the table than it is on that side of the table. Where did that go? A little bit more of this. What is that? That was burnt umber. I don't know what this is, but that happens sometimes on this paper. I'm not sure exactly what that... I don't know if something was messed up in processing, but it dries and you can barely see it. So we'll see how it looks after. That is not me. That is the paper. But I was just feeling like painting an orange today, and I thought I'd share. And if that little funky spot on the paper wasn't there, I think it would look, well, it does look spectacular. So I'm going to say, my painting looks spectacular. And we're going to have a little bit of a dry brush, and we're going to, where's my blue? I'm going to give it a little bit of a blue background. I'm going to use cerulean blue. Yeah, I think this is the cerulean. And we're just going to barely have your paintbrush wet. Barely. Take this off of here. And we're just going to, like, just a little bit of a dry brush. No biggie. No biggie. We're just giving it a background, like the wall. Like you see that wall in the background, and it's like there, but it's not, you know? It's just a little bit of wall in the background. And that one got a little wetter, and that's absolutely fine. Maybe we want one side to show up more than the other side, or this is such great paper, especially for practicing. Arteza did it well. Arteza has great paint. They have great everything. I really like their products. So if you are looking for something that's inexpensive but still really great, try Arteza. We'll link it in the below. Arteza is wonderful. They have all kinds of stuff. They have pens, they have markers, they have, I really should work for them, hey? Just giving them all kinds of credit here. But yeah, they have pens and they have markers and they have all kinds of school supplies, children's supplies, everything. So this is our sweet little orange. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm not going to paint the whole table, but we know it's there. Well, maybe I won't. Maybe I will. Who knows? You know me. Could be sitting on the ground. I don't know. But that is our orange for today. So if you like this, please give me a thumbs up on YouTube. Go to my YouTube channel and give me a thumbs up. It is The Painting Turtle by Danielle Bart. Give me a thumbs up and let me know that you're watching, that you like this. Give me a comment. Subscribe to my channel. That would be really wonderful. And let me know what you think. I would really love it to hear from you. Share it with a friend. Let your buddies know. There's this lady over here. She's pretty cool. She's trying to grow her channel, and she would really love for you to check it out. Okay, so I'm going to stop messing with it because you know what? You can mess with it too much. Okay, so that's just a very simple orange. Anybody can do that. We can do it much more detailed and really give it some zhuzh if you wanted to. But if you're just playing around, that's a very simple orange. And I think for all intent and purposes, it just shows you that you can paint. Anybody can paint. I am still learning. Everybody is still on this journey. We're on this journey together. I am still learning. And if you're not learning, then you're not living. So I'm going to leave you with that. Have a great day. I hope you get out there and do something creative today. Talk to you soon. Much love and peace to you all. Have a great day and God bless. Bye.